Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. Welcome to this video where I break down a beat. This is basically like a trap beat. This beat is hard. It hits hard. It has a lot of energy into it. This is a hit, man. It sounds like one to me. I'll let you be the judge, but you know, every beat speaks to a different artist differently. Every beat speaks to a producer differently. It's all good. So anyway, if you like to follow me, you can follow me on DJ Fanatic Beats on Instagram. That's PHANATIC, or Instagram as well at Sounds for Producers. So let me break it down. So basically, I'm going to show you every element, every sound choice in this beat, also the mixing things that I chose to do in this beat, as well as any mastering stuff that I did. I turned Ozone 8 off because I think it might be kind of crazy going over each thing, and the processing power might be a little stressed for running the video and these type of plugins. But let me actually just turn it on. Pray to God it doesn't cut off. And I'll just break it down for you. So first, I'll start out with like a flute loop. And I believe I did some things to it. I usually do. With loops, yeah, geez. Look at all this different stuff I did to it. So with loops, I always change it. I always make it to what I want to hear, like how I want to speak. Like, basically, it's like a different language. You take, just say this flute was English, change it into something totally different. Like, I try to change it to a language spoken on another planet, if you will. So, as you can see, there's two EQs here. There's halftime, there's reverser, and reverb at the end. So I'll just break down what I did. Let's turn off the effects. So this is what it sounds like first. So, and also I pitched it up from its original pitch. Let's copy that value and reset. This is what it sounds like without the pitch change. A lot lower, right? So we'll just paste that value back in. And this is also, let me play it again with the pitch up. And this is what it sounds like with all the effects. See what I mean by speaking a different language? So it's like totally different than what it was before. The melody's pretty similar, but it's a different pitch and also a lot going on processing wise. What I did usually is cut the lows initially, so that way it's not muddy. Halftime kind of gave it like this underneath melody. Let's take out halftime. See? Add halftime. And I did another EQ after it to cut some of the highs after halftime. The reverser gives it like this reverser effect with a mix level. I think it's like 15% or whatever, maybe 20. Reverb, I did reverb after everything just to give it like some airiness and some space. So it's like some sound design stuff, but over time you just get better and better at it. So the second sound that I chose was like some chords. So with that, I use expand. And I'll show you exactly what I use. It's like a brass woodwind sound. It's called Orchestral Brass. It's one of my favorite brass in there. So this is what it sounds like. Nothing too complicated. I just use a fruity parametric EQ2 and cut the lows at a little above 100 hertz. Just so, you know, get rid of those lower frequencies. I just wanted the sound of it, not the rumble of the lower brass area. And the chords, nothing too crazy. These are pretty much, what did I do? Octaves? Yep. If you notice, A sharp, A sharp, A sharp, F, F, A sharp, A sharp, A sharp. So they're just octave jumps. And we can play that by itself. So just to kind of give it like this power behind it. So let's go back to song mode. And the next thing I added, this was some piano. So I did a piano melody on top of it just to give it some more flavor. So here it is. So if you notice the piano part, it's just a melody I came up with and kind of played it while I was just vibing out making a beat. And the second part of it was pattern 4, and it's basically the same thing but an octave up. So doing octaves like that with melodies definitely shows movement. You can use that in your beats because it just shows a little more creativity than having everything stagnant and the same throughout the beat. Man, I heard beats where I'm like, you don't have any change ups? Like, they'll do one little change up and the beat's boring to me. But it's also a taste and style, because every producer is different and every artist receives it differently. But try to be a little creative when you're making your music. Not a little creative, be a lot of creative. You know, it's up to you because you're the creative. So I mean, just have a balance between the two. The next sound that I chose was what was this? Second part of piano is probably just some lower notes. So here we go. And if you notice, those low notes give it that trap feel. It has like this angry feel about it. And with that, I actually did let a couple lower frequencies carry through here. I'll hit play and you can kind of look at it. See, I let it go a little lower than 100 hertz, so that way I get a little bit of darkness element. So I have two pianos, brass and flute, and those are pretty much the instrumentation of the beat. Nothing too crazy. The chords are pretty straightforward. Actually, there are no chords, they're just octaves. And the next sound that I have here for pattern 6, I believe that's a lead. Yeah, so that is the last melody that I added in the beat. So there's 5 different pretty much melodies in this beat, which is a lot, and I maxed it out. You don't want to have too much going on because it will start sounding cluttered and the artist won't hear themselves on the beat. It's hard for them to picture themselves into it, not even like consciously, like subconsciously, like they can't feel it because it's so much stuff into it. So I had that issue for years, and obviously it still carries over a bit because I did a little too much in this beat, melody wise anyway. So here it is. This is the lead that I chose to go in the chorus only. Alright, so basically it's a light lead. It's nothing too overpowering. It's light and it's in the background. Mixing wise, what I did, I panned it right. A lot of times I pan main leads to the right. If you use like market research and study certain songs, you'll hear a lot of main leads that are panned to the right. It's just an old, I won't say old, but it's a tradition that a lot of big songs do, and it doesn't mean that you have to do it that way. It's just something I felt that lead would go there, pan it to the right. So as you can tell, as I'm making the beat, I tend to mix while I'm making the beat to save time and also kind of place things where I want them. So with the EQ, with that lead, I cut the highs and cut the lows. I noticed I went up a little more to 61 hertz, and I added reverb to kind of give it some more space. So that's in the background. So I'm set, you know, I'm happy. I got all my melodies going on, so I'm jumping to the drums now. So for this particular next thing I chose was a snare. So if you notice, I actually had multiple snares in the same pattern. So when you double click and you have this little drop down arrow, see I got 2 different snares, and I used them in a way, a creative way, where you can have the other snare hitting on the second hit. Like, and here's the second one in the background. It's like a reverb snare in the background. So It's very subtle, but little things like that make your beat stand out. So EQ wise, what I did, I shaped the EQ based on what frequencies I want to be prevalent. This takes time. At this point, you know, I can do it really fast, just listening to where I want certain frequencies to stand out in whatever snare I want. And let me do that. I'm a solo to snare, so check it out. Now notice at 536 hertz I boosted it, and also at 256 hertz. So I wanted some lower frequencies in the snare to cut through. Let me turn this off and turn this off. This is what the snare sounds like by itself. Really, like it's paper thin almost, you know. Also I pitched it up a little bit to match the key of the beat. So remember to pitch your drums too, because they're an instrument as well, and they have tone into them. They have like tonality. So don't forget to tune drums, because it definitely makes you more than a beginner producer. It brings you up to intermediate to advanced. So tuning drums is essential. So anyway, this is what I did without EQ. And this is with EQ. So you can hear the presence and the lower frequencies. And this is the Fruity Stereo Enhancer. Basically, it enhances the stereo separation. So it kind of makes a copy, but also delays the second one based on your parameters here. So this is with the Fruity Stereo Enhancer. I'm going to turn it off. Turn it on. So a very subtle difference. I didn't want too much going on because I had another snare here. So let's show you. You already heard the other snare in the background. So the next thing I added to get things popping was the kick. I'm like, yo, I've been working hard on this beat. Let's get some going. So these are the plugins I use, and let me just hit play so you can hear the type of kick pattern I chose. Notice with the kick, let's see, did I pitch anything for this kick? Where are we here? Yeah, I pitched it way up. So I pitched the kick pretty high, just to match the beat, and probably because of the second, I have 2 kicks with this beat. So I was doing some sound designing stuff, layering drums, and layering drums is the key to making unique music, and also the key to making some crazy sounds. But you can spend time on layering and doing different things, letting certain frequencies stand out, doing certain panning things, timing things, and just come up with a whole new sound based on your sounds. So that is a gem right there. I was doing it briefly, and it may have taken me some time to do this, but okay. So anyway, this one kick has the Fruity Soft Clipper to give it some punch. And R-bass stereo, I rarely try that with kicks, but I wanted this thump to come through. So this is without all plugins. See what I'm saying? This is with plugins. Alright, you follow me? So this is with the second snare. Let me see if I did that. Cool. So this is with the second snare, and it's the same rhythm. Notice the type of rhythm I chose as well. That was like a bounce rhythm. It's like you vibing. It's not a typical boom, boom, cat, boom, boom, boom. It has triplets in it. It has doubles. It's a very unique rhythm for a trap beat. So I'm gonna play the second kick as well. Here you go. Let's play just the second kick. Now Now if you notice what I did, I just let the really lows, the subs of that second kick shine through, because I wanted that second kick just to have that thump that the first kick didn't do, or I took out. So it was on some sound design stuff. So basically I let one kick higher frequency shine through and thud or like thump or whatever, and then I let sub harmonic frequencies shine through in the second kick. So next I added the hi-hat. Probably did some crazy stuff. It looks like a fast pattern with like a triplet at the end, see right here. So let me play that. Alright, you're getting the idea now. So I cut the lows on the hi-hat, so all just high frequencies come through. And notice the hi-hats are panned left just a little bit, and the brass is left a little bit. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here panning wise. Not much, but just little tasteful things here and there. So I was happy with that. Added an open hi-hat, I think on the end of the beat to make it, just give it a little more groove. This is the open hi-hat here, and that's panned right. And also the highs are cut there as well for higher frequency. Usually hi-hats and open hi-hats and crashes and stuff sit in similar frequency ranges. So here it is with the open hi-hat. Okay, you get the idea. And the next sound that I have is another hi-hat. Basically I created like this little hi-hat roll that has a lot of pitching. You can get creative like this with hi-hats, you don't have to. I like doing unique stuff with sounds. So this is just something a little cool that I do behind the scenes in some beats. So here, check it out. And with that, I think I'm panning it like crazy. Let me check that. Panning. Yeah, see? That's crazy. I can tell. Let me just play this pattern so you can hear what I did with this hi-hat. So not only I have this unique pattern rhythm wise, I'm changing pitches. You start here, you go down, start here, go all the way down, but I'm also panning it while I'm doing that. So I was kind of going overkill, just wanted to do something unique, and it came out pretty dope. So next thing was a cymbal. Like a pretty straightforward cymbal crash with some reverb on the end to extend the tail of the sound. And cymbals you got to pitch too, or crash. This one, I like how it sounded in the beat. See? So it's not a trap beat unless you got that 808. So what I did with the 808, man, I spent so much time making this beat, I can tell already. So here, let me play the beat as is with the 808. God, I was going crazy. So with this beat, I actually if you notice, there's octave jumps. 808s, we tend to do that in trap beats, just A sharp, A sharp, A sharp, A sharp. Sometimes you'll have random notes that bridge into the next phrase. You know, there's different things about melodies and stuff. In 808 you can make up melodies, they're just a simplistic version sometimes. So with this 808, there's nothing crazy going on. I pretty much did a couple octave jumps and also some sustaining notes to give some discord before starting the next phrase. So I think there's another pattern. Yeah, the second pattern is a lot more going on. Notice there's more jumps and like a fall down to the A sharp here. So I kind of did the opposite of the other one. So I spent some time thinking about how I'm gonna create the 808. Of course, you know, you can select all and Alt L and elongate every note into the next note. That's a quick way of making the 808 duration notes touch the next note. So basically, if this was here and I go like this, select it, and then hit Alt L, it goes, it's their articulator. So it asks me, do you want me to go here to this next note? And you just click accept, and yes. So that's a quick way, you know, to elongate notes or whatever. But and also processing wise, as you can see, I did all kinds of stuff. Fruity fast distortion, R-bass stereo, and fruity limiter, and to sidechain the kick to the 808. So with that 808, I had it straight going up and down. R-bass stereo can do some awesome stuff too. I isolated the 35 Hz frequency and also just boosted intensity a little bit to give it some harmonics. Where you get the buzz, here, let me play it by itself. And this is without plugins. So you get the idea. It already had a buzz to it, but I also took down the highs and boosted the low mids all the way up here. I'm shocked I did that. So anyway, it came out dope, and it meshed with the beat really well. So let me unsolo that, and I added one more snare because I was probably crazy. I added another snare on top of it. So let's see what that sounds like. That's all the elements, and here you go. Now I can tell that last snare was crazy. I usually don't add a snare at the end, but I felt like it needed more presence, so that's why I added it. As you can see, I cut the lows in that as well. So that last snare I added, where are you, buddy? So it has reverb already in it, and you notice at the very top here, it's off the grid a little bit. See, you can use the sample start, but it gives it a nice little swing to it. And swing is very unique to every beat, to every producer. So it kind of gives it this off-centeredness and not robotic, like quantize everything. So, and also I added some swing here. Let's copy that value. It looked like it's around 20%. Yeah, see, paste 20%. So that way everything's grooving a little off the grid. So it came out pretty cool. Panning wise, you can see what I'm doing. Levels, that's adjusted by taste. And the drums came out insane. That third snare just added a lot of power to it. There's a lot of sound layering in here and a lot of sound design. Not a lot, but it's enough. And mastering wise, I use Neutron too. Let me open that up for you. I didn't use any presets. Basically, I used the track assistant, and then it decides what to use as far as whatever's playing. And then I usually keep it on clean mode for each thing, so that way, especially when you're using it on a master track, that way it's a lot more transparent and not as harsh. And then you can kind of adjust within the parameters and make what you want to do. So anyway, it shows EQ, compressor, and another compressor. It's a full band, and then the exciter, which does some cool stuff too. So, and then I use Ozone 8. It's the same thing pretty much, but with different modules. So I use the master assistant, and then it creates what it thinks, you know, it would sound good with it based on whatever, you know. See, look, if I hit master assistant, I can choose my target, which is streaming, CD, reference. I usually use CD. Intensity, I usually use medium, but you can try different things and see what it sounds like on every beat. Remember, you don't even need fancy stuff, you know, to make stuff sound good. This is what I'm using now, mastering wise. You can always just master with whatever you have, man. Because FL Studio comes with a lot of really good plugins. I just got this because I was a fan of Isotope for years. So, and this is the older version. They just keep updating stuff, but it does the job for me. So, and then I just change the parameters for each module, and Also the maximizer, I choose which mode I want, set my threshold and my ceiling and all that. Tonal balance control is helpful for me as well. That way I know where my frequencies lie when I'm playing. Here, let me hit play. Notice how all the white lines are still within these blue areas. So these are based on algorithms and your target. And you can also target songs too. Create custom target curve from audio file. So that way you're matching basically what type of beat it is. I don't know, DaBaby or whatever, Chance the Rapper, whatever beats that you're making, you can target to that. That's a gem right there too. So anyway, yeah, that's all the elements from the beat. Mixing, mostly. Mastering, I didn't go really in depth in what I did with some of the plugins, but I don't want to bore you to death with that. But just want to give you an idea, so that way you can use these tools, use whatever I say in the video, and hopefully the beat itself inspires you to cook up and just get to creating. You know, it's nothing like being motivated to make something dope. So I'm gonna play from the intro into the chorus into the verse, and so you can vibe out with the beat. So enjoy. Comes the sub. A lot of movement. Verse. Notice the piano part is a lot lower octave. Bring in another element here. 2 elements. Low piano part and the 808. There's a break into the chorus. Oh, that 808 is funny when you stop it like that. So anyway, hopefully you're inspired. Hopefully I said something that was that you didn't know about and that you can learn from it, and hopefully you're just motivated to make something even better. Use whatever I said in this video just to make your music that much better, because that's the core of your business. You know, make that music hot, make it dope, make it the best someone ever heard, the best you possibly can do. So again, if you like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at DJPhanaticBeats, or Sounds for Producers on IG as well. And again, it's DJ Fanatic Beats, content contributor for LiveOffBeats.com. Peace, yo.